Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Vortex, where lies and falsehoods are trapped and exposed. I'm Michael Voris. The latest controversy centering around Father James Martin and his pushing of all manner of gayness in the church under the guise of compassion for same-sex attracted Catholics is really causing the battle lines to be drawn very clearly in what is a civil war now for the soul of the church. Prelates and clergy are choosing up sides, and a large number of cardinals, archbishops, and bishops, as well as many of their priests, are on the wrong side, meaning the diabolical. Father Martin is spreading heresy, claiming such things as gay marriage is fine and that gay men should kiss each other in Mass at the sign of peace, although, to be fair, that probably happens more frequently than most people realize when two or more priests are concelebrating. And that's because of the hugely disproportionate number of homosexual men who are ordained. And that is the consequence of all the gay men who were recruited, actively recruited for the seminary in the 1970s through the 1990s, who have since been ordained and moved up the ecclesiastical ladder. This is true not just of parish priests and chancery officials, but also of religious orders, the Jesuits being one of the orders most infected. This is evidenced by the official communique issued this weekend over the whole Martin controversy by the Jesuit leadership here in North America in defense of all things Father Martin and his gayness. You may remember a couple of years ago, Church Militant produced a Vortex on this very subject, rampant homosexuality in the Jesuits. In March of 2015, the online site, liberal site, The Daily Beast, published an article by a 35-year-old former Jesuit seminarian. It was a tell-all about his time in formation, his words, with the Jesuits, the order he calls the, quote, most progressive and gay-friendly religious order in the church, closed quote. Here are some quotes from his article. Quote, in St. Louis, I learned firsthand about the secret, scandalous world of gay Jesuits. I'd hear of gay Jesuits fondling each other in vans on the way to retreats. Of a sexually active relationship he had with a fellow Jesuit, the seminarian writes, quote, before long, we were skipping meals and paper writing and finding our usual spot on the campus of St. Louis University to embrace and kiss. And then getting to the heart of the matter, he writes, quote, I could go on and on about gay Jesuits playing the piano in the West Villages duplex, or about the nights I spent at New York City's Splash Bar or the Eagle Club. I could talk about how older gay Jesuits swam nude during summers at villa homes, about Jesuits who groped each other in hot tubs, or Jesuits who were gay in the order but who are now safely married. I could talk about gay Jesuits that had online avatars and memberships to gay online dating sites. I could talk about failed Jesuit hookups, my own and others. There were the gay Jesuits who were so closeted that they hid behind conservatism, leaving the Jesuits for formation programs in dioceses across the United States, or whose personal collection of pornography was mistakenly played during high school lectures. I myself was groomed for sex by several older Jesuits. One gay Jesuit offered to marry me as I departed the Society of Jesus, closed quote. He left the Jesuits as well as the faith. He's now Episcopalian, not because he was disgusted with the rampant homosexuality, but because of the hypocrisy surrounding it. The point of his article wasn't to say there are many, many active homosexuals in the Jesuits, but that many of them are closeted because they don't want to risk giving up the good life. In one revealing passage, he says, quote, I believe these gay Jesuits won't come out because they live comfortable lives with access to so many things like the latest technology or villas abroad or tenured positions at universities, not to mention the unlimited gas cards that make domestic travel really easy, closed quote. This is an inside look from an insider, not disgusted by the sin, far from it, but the hypocrisy of fellow Jesuit homosexuals who will not come out of the closet and trumpet homosexuality as a great gift from God. He says they are just sponging off the society, having their sexually active affairs and living the high life, refusing to say whether they are gay or not, just like Father Martin refuses to. In fact, Father Martin has been specifically ordered by his superiors not to reveal his personal sexuality, and yes, that's very telling. These men are leading others into sin right along with themselves, and they preach and teach and are given various posts and run universities and theology departments and write books and speak on the lecture circuit and ultimately deform the gospel. Leaders in the church know this goes on and yet defend these men, publicly backing them and accusing apostolates like Church Militant and others of being demonic and sowing division and all kinds of nonsense like that. Anyone with even one good ear tuned to affairs in the church these days knows with absolute certainty that all this is in fact the case, no question about it. Notice the lack of any denials about the predominance of homosexual men in the clergy, especially the lack of denials that many of them are practicing homosexuals, because they are. And it's not just the Jesuits, and it's not just the male religious communities either. Women religious have been overrun by lesbians and those friendly to the agenda. And it's not just the orders either. This infection is rampant in dioceses all over the country and many parts of the world, as story after story keeps revealing. There are many issues in the church that need cleaning up, and this one is near the top, regardless of how wimps at the establishment Church of Nice like to play it. This is civil war, Catholic, gay civil war, and it's breaking out into the open. Those in the establishment Catholic Church, meaning those who run the so-called journalism outfits, for example, and various institutional organs within the church who aren't necessarily down with this gay push, but nevertheless either go along with it, defend it, or are silent about it. You need to be reminded that this evil, and this is what it is, this evil leads souls to hell, and when you die, you are going to be judged on this whole filthy, rotten business and how you were complicit in these clerics' evils. Evil does not prevail forever. Stop worrying about your careers and pensions and pleasing your bosses. There's only one boss you need to concern yourself with. Father Martin spreads evil and heresy, and he has many allies. Now, whose side are you on? God love you. I'm Michael Voris.